Let's compare an Ultrasabers Archon 2.1 to an Ultrasabers Archon 3.1, and just a little heads up, there's this kind of neat activation box area with a clamp card on the Archon 3.1, but this is a custom feature that the previous owner added to the hilt, so that's just sort of a mod that they did. If you did purchase this directly from Ultrasabers, it wouldn't include any of that, so just a little heads up there. Now let's compare these side by side, exactly side by side, kind of parallel. First of all, you see that the length of the hilt is pretty much the same. They're both about 12 inches long, and the layout of the hilt is very similar, at least toward the bottom of the hilt. So, you know, the pommels pretty much match, as do the lower sections of the hilt. Grip section more or less matches, although it is a little bit different. And then even we have this kind of silver color, or this metallic silver ring thing right here. That's pretty much matches up on the hilts, but once we move much higher, the differences start to show. So Archon 3.1 is a true thin neck lightsaber. You can see right here, it really tapers a lot right there, whereas the Archon 2.1, it has a small taper here, but it's not a true thin neck lightsaber. It's more of a faux thin neck lightsaber. So it still accommodates a standard 1-inch diameter blade, and there's no like special treatment or anything for that blade. Whereas with the Archon 3.1, this actually only accommodates a heavy grade blade, and also the heavy grade blade needs to be modified slightly, so it needs a small section of the blade film cut out of it. The part about here would be cut out of the heavy grade blade, or cut out of the blade film in the heavy grade blade, and that's pretty standard for thin neck lightsabers made by any company. So you do see that there's kind of a more narrow space for the light to come through on the Archon 3.1 compared to the Archon 2.1 as well. So now moving down to the neck, we have this beautiful kind of brass emitter section for the Archon 3.1, and that really kind of increases the in-universe feel of the hilt, and well, just also the fact that it's a thin neck lightsaber versus a faux thin neck lightsaber. Now the Archon 3.1, the neck section and the actual emitter section, both of those pieces come apart. So I'll just kind of show you guys that real fast. So these pieces come apart and they are MHS compatible. Although if you do remove the neck, you would need to add some other piece here, because this emitter section and the body, they're both threaded female, so you can't just connect them to each other that way. Let's put it back if we can. Yes, we can. Now, let's see. We can kind of see here's the blade retention screw on the Archon 2.1. And in just a second, I'll show that on the 3.1. Yeah, so we can see that it rests a little bit, you know, kind of down the hilt, whereas it's located quite high on the Archon 3.1. Okay, now activation switch area, and well, really the layout of most of the rest of the hilt, it's not identical, but it's really, really close. So, you know, the activation switch is pretty much in the same spot. This grip section is slightly different, but it looks like it's a little, these are a little shorter. Kind of this grip section, these sections within the grip section appear to be a little bit shorter on the Archon 3.1. Another difference is actually in the pommel area. I mean, you do see that the design, kind of the sound vents at the bottom are a bit larger on the Archon 2.1, it looks like, compared to the Archon 3.1. And another tiny difference is the Archon 3.1 has this little ring here. It's kind of a tri-ring or a D-ring. So you could, you know, wear this hilt on your belt because of that. And they both have CoverTech wheels, although the Archon 2.1 comes standard with a CoverTech wheel, and for Archon 3.1, this is an add-on feature, maybe because there's the ring on the pommel. But anyway, that's just kind of a quick look at these two sort of very similar looking lightsaber hilts. We have the Archon 2.1 over here, which is sort of more of a faux thin neck lightsaber, and then we have the Archon 3.1 over here, which is a true thin neck lightsaber. So feel free to comment below.